10 unspoken rules of Bangkok 10 กฎเหล็กกรุงเทพที่ไม่มีใครบอก I've lived in Bangkok for the majority of my life, and in this clip I've put down the 10 top things that I think people need to know about Bangkok, and actually a lot of them apply to all of Thailand. That's going to make your stay in Bangkok a lot happier. Many of these things are things that Thais living in Bangkok just think are common sense and most people would know anyway. Some of these things, unless you live here a long time or if you speak the language, you probably have no chance of knowing. So I'm going to share them with you today, and I hope that they help you have a better stay in Bangkok and in Thailand. I also have a huge announcement that I'm going to be making today, so stay tuned. Number 1. Pedestrians do not have right of way. Now, I know there are going to be people screaming out there, both Thais and non-Thais, saying, well, actually the law says that pedestrians have right of way and I did my license and that. No. In Bangkok, yes, we do have zebra crossings. They are nice painted lines across the road. There are actually crossings where you can press a button, but the reality is that cars take precedence, and if you value your life, you will take this as the law. Cars in Bangkok are king, whether you like it or not. Well, cars or motorized vehicles. Don't even get me started on cyclists in Bangkok. I personally think they have a death wish, and it would seem that 9 out of 10 cyclists in Bangkok come from Europe, the Americas, or Australia. My advice, just don't cycle in Bangkok if you value your life. But coming back to it, pedestrians do not have right of way. And we've had some shocking accidents where pedestrians have walked across at a pedestrian crossing and bang, they've been slammed down. The reality is, when drivers see pedestrians, there is no instinct to slow down. And so if you think, no, I'm going to exercise my right as a pedestrian, well, then you're taking your life into your own hands. There is a way to cross the road. Yeah, it's probably better at a pedestrian crossing because maybe you've got a little thin veneer of being more safe than not at the crossing. But the general rule is you wait for the rhythm of the traffic, you see it coming, and if you think you've got enough space, then you start going across. If there's a car coming, you might sort of do a little Y or bow down to the car, and then maybe they'll slow down for you a little bit and you get across the road. It's all about timing. And you get across the road, and that's how it works. If you step across the road, and the worst thing you can do is put your hand up and stop. There are certain countries, certain demographics that I see tourists coming here and they'll walk across the road and they'll just walk and put their hand up and try and cross the road like this. This is a death wish. Do not do that. And many Thai drivers, as soon as you walk across the road, just sticking your hand up like this, saying stop, some will take that as a challenge, and it's not going to be pretty. Number 2, do not walk around without a shirt. Both guys and girls. I don't know what it is, and I don't know what makes people think that it's okay to do so. Maybe they've spent time around the islands and they've been walking around without a shirt around the islands. If you're on the beach, yeah, maybe. But even when you're down in Phuket somewhere, you don't walk around places that are not beaches without a shirt on. It's just not done. And so I see people come to Bangkok, and you see people when they're exercising or just walking around with no shirt on. This is mainly guys. Thais feel very uncomfortable. It's not socially acceptable in Thailand, and overall it's just not a cool thing to do. So unless you're at a pool or at a beach, if you're in Bangkok walking around, wear a shirt and pants. Number 3, do not ask for somebody's best price. That's really weird. Oh, give me your best price. Oh, now that you've asked me, I'm going to give you your best price. This is just not the way negotiations are done in Thailand. Maybe in other countries, when you're haggling, you say, give me your best price and they'll do it. In Thailand, asking somebody for their best price is almost an insult. So when you're buying something on the street, now it depends if you're in a tourist area or not, but just say we're in a Thai area and Thais are negotiating something. If Thais see a price marked as, say, 100 baht, you're probably not going to go below 85, 80 baht when you're offering to them what you're going to pay, just out of respect. It's probably maybe a 10-15% max that you will discount from the price. Now, if you're in tourist areas, of course, that's going to change because, yeah, maybe they'll mark up the prices. The other thing is a lot of these vendors, especially you see around Sukhumvit, around from Soi 4 up to Asok Talk area, many of these people aren't even Thai. Many of them are from Burma, they might be Nepali or from different places around. And so they play by different rules as well. But with Thais, the general rule is don't try and cut more than 10, 15%, even 5% off of the price. The best way to do it is to walk around first and look at the prices, see what people are paying, say you're in a market. And then if you know what the price should be, just say 5% under that price. They're still going to make a profit. You're not going to get into an awkward situation and everybody leaves happily. But do not say, oh, give me your best price. Number 4, beware of the brick flick. What is a brick flick? This is a term that I coined many years ago, so let's read it. Brick flicked. Originating from Bangkok, Thailand, coined by Bangkok resident Stuart J. Raj, being brick flicked is the act of treading on seemingly dry piece of pavement only to realize that it's actually floating loosely in a puddle of rancid squalor as it splashes up your leg. The term can be also used in as expletive, adjective, or noun. Damn, I've just been brick flicked. Flick a brick. Well, flick a brick and call me some chai. That's a brick flicking mess, isn't it? Now, for anybody who's been here in the rainy season, and if you've been walking down any kind of pavement, I'm sure most people, you've stepped on a brick, because the pavements have these square bricks, and then all of a sudden, you get this black, rancid crap going all up your leg and all over your feet, and it's disgusting, and you want to find the closest hose to wipe it all down and to wash it off. Any Bangkok resident knows when it's raining, you do not trust the footpath, and you'll actually be looking for the bricks that look most solid to tread on them as you walk, or you might just choose to walk on the road next to the footpath because you know the chances of you getting out alive without being brick flicked are very, very slim. So if you want to avoid a disgusting experience in Bangkok, be aware of the brick flick. Number 5, when using your phone in public, do not play anything on loudspeaker, whether it's a call, whether you're watching a YouTube video, whether you're playing a game or anything. If it's got sound, put your headphones in, for God's sake. I see people on the train or in restaurants and they just have videos blaring there, or they'll get into a call and the speakerphone's on, and it's just super rude. And you can see the Thais around and think, well, what the hell is this? And it's just blaring there. Again, there are some nationalities that maybe are more prone to doing this than others. But as a general rule of thumb in Thailand, and again, this is the whole concept of greng chai. I'll get into greng chai maybe in another clip. Basically, you don't want your presence on this planet to be a burden to somebody else. And so part of that is the noise that's emanating from you. Do not make any disturbing sounds in public. So if you got to watch a video, if you got to take a call, if you're going to play a game on your phone, put your earphones in. I mentioned I had some huge news today. I mentioned recently that I've been teaching my 4-year-old daughter a lot of stuff, and you see my tools out there at crackinglanguage.com. Now she can read Korean, she's writing Chinese, she's using the abacus to do math, to the point that sometimes she doesn't even need the abacus. She can just do the mental arithmetic. She's 4 years old. And so what I've done is I've adapted this and I've turned this into an 8-session Mindcraft kids program that I'll be running first face-to-face with real kids. I figured if I could do this with my daughter, well then surely other kids are going to work as well. And so starting the 21st of December, I'm going to run an 8-week program with a bunch of kids. They can be foreigners, they can be Thais. I'm going to run it in English, but this is going to give them a grounding in language, in math, self, mind, and music. So by the end of it, they'll be able to read Korean. They're going to be able to do sign language alphabet, Morse code, use an abacus to do mental arithmetic. They'll be writing Chinese characters. They'll be reading Thai. They'll understand Thai tone rules. Just doing things the way that, say, native speaking Thai kids or kids across Asia would do or have done in the past, but I'm going to package it in a way that can sort of set this universal foundation that I've been doing with my daughter. And if you've been using my tools out there in crackinglanguage.com, you'd see how all of these are being linked together in one visual, multi-sensory way. And so if you have kids between the age of, say, 5 and 8, and then another group of 8 to 12, and you're in Bangkok over the period, just reach out to me. I'll put a link in the description below, and I'd love to have them on board. It'll be mixing my soft skills from my Dale Carnegie past with hard skills in math, language, data, music, all of these things melded together to give a super great foundation for kids that I hope will end up as very balanced kids. So that's Minecraft Kids starting on the 21st of December. Click on the link below to register, and I hope that you and your family can be part of this. Number 6, speaking of emanating sounds from your person, do not blow your nose in public. Now, I think this is probably a general thing, maybe across Southeast Asia and especially in Japan, Korea. You do not blow your nose in public. Now, yeah, I have sinus issues too, but you don't just go and pull out a hanky and just hawk it on down there. That's disgusting in Thai's minds. So what do? You go to a bathroom, and you'll just try and clear your nose out, maybe go into one of the cubicles and get some paper and clear your nose there, or you might wash your nose or do something there, but you do not pull a handkerchief out and blow it. And by the way, on the topic of handkerchiefs, in the eyes of Thais and many people in this part of the world, they are disgusting because you're pulling out this piece of cloth and you're putting all of this crap from inside of you in there, and then you're putting it back in your pocket to go crusty and fester with germs and taking it out again. So when it comes to anything coming out of your body, spit, mucus, going to the bathroom, you don't use a piece of material. Rather, you would use tissue that is disposable. Number 7, still sticking on public places. And I see this happen a lot in airports, in hotels, and people just sit there and put their feet up either on the benches, or they'll say they're in the waiting area or in the terminal gate, and they'll sit there with their feet up, either on their suitcases or feet up across the seats. And this is just not done. Again, it comes to kreng chai. I think I've got into it in other clips, but basically the feet are the most putrid, rancid part of your body. The head is the holiest part of the body. And so you just imagine you're walking around all day and there's just sludge and crap all down there, and it's coming up to this beaming, glowing, holy part up top. So the general rule is never, ever, ever bring something up higher than it's perceived that it should be. And that's both literal and metaphorically. And so your feet literally are down there. And so you don't bring them up higher than somebody else's, that area, so closer to somebody else's head. It's just disrespectful. You don't want to show the soles of your feet. You keep them down, and many Thais think that this is just common sense. Why don't people know this? And they don't realize that in the West, some people even put their feet up on their desk at work. To a Thai, this is just inconceivable that somebody would think that this is even okay to do. So if you're in public, don't put your feet up. Don't rest your feet on your suitcase for everyone to see the bottoms of your feet. It's considered super, super rude. And you might be preventing yourself from having some great opportunities that would have otherwise been available to you, because Thais might approach you, you might make some friends, but because you're doing that, it's just radiating this message: keep away from this person. Number 8, don't why everybody. Now, to why is this. When you why, you bring your hands up. It's in this lotus position like this, lotus flower, and you bring up like this. This is a why. And you'll see tourists when they come here usually, and they just why everybody because they see people whying. But again, just like that general rule of thumb, you don't bring something up higher than it's perceived that it should be. The general rule amongst Thais is, who do you why to? You why to people who are either, I guess, your level or higher than you. So for example, you'll never get an adult whying a kid. The kid will why them, and you might be saying, no, well, I want equal rights, and that's just not fair on a respect. Yeah, that's you. You're in Thailand, and these are how things run in Thailand. So for you to why a person who's not ready to be wide or shouldn't really be wide within the social strata, you're actually making them feel uncomfortable because you want to feel comfortable with your morals. And I've actually seen people quit from companies because their Western bosses have come in and wide the maids, and they're not in a position to be wide. You might feel super uncomfortable with this concept, but that's just the way it is. And if you can't accept that concept, you're not going to change it. So maybe Bangkok/Thailand isn't the place for you. So on the flip side, when you do come to Thailand, learn to why properly and just observe. who whys who in what kind of circumstances, and you're going to fit in really well because your why can actually tell a lot about you. Depending on how you why, people will know probably what level of society you're from, what level of education you have, maybe even what your surname might be or what your profession is. That could all be told maybe from a why. So there is an art to whying. Number 9, no public confrontations. This is such a broad thing, and it's a thing right across Asia. You just don't cause people to lose face. And many things can cause somebody to lose face. The thing is, here in Thailand is there is a long threshold between smiling, being pushed to the limit, and people may misread that and think, oh, look, this is the land of smiles. Everyone's smiling. But what you don't realize that you're going to get a smile from here. And at this point, anywhere else, this would not be a smile, but the smile's still staying there. But from here on in, this is not a happy smile. This is there. We have like so many different words for smile. You have yim so, yim yok yo. You've got all these negative kinds of smiles. And so you're getting this resentment and bubbling up to the point that if you cause somebody to lose face or you push them to limit, many Thais will get to that point and snap. And there have been some horrible incidents that have happened when people have been pushed to that point. If people are being accused of being dishonest or thieving or doing something that causes them to lose face, you just have to look at the defamation law here. If you accuse somebody of something, even if it's true and it causes them to lose face, well, then they can sue you for defamation, even if it's true. So causing somebody to lose face here is a huge thing, and it can end up really tragically. All you have to do is Google a few things. I don't want to say what happened here, but if you Google Caterpillar Executive Taxi Samurai Sword, that's one Google. Here's another Google: Dunkin' Donuts, trendy, police, French. Google those two things and you're going to read some stories that will blow your mind. But this is what happens when foreigners don't read the room and they push people too far. And this goes in any relationship, even with people that you do know. Don't cause people to lose face because it can end up very badly. And number 10, actually, there are many of these. I listed about 30 of them down, but these are the top 10. Number 10 is don't honk your horn. Cars do have horns, but when you get to the point when you honk your horn, and I'm guilty, sometimes I get to the point and I'll give a beep. But if you honk your horn, and if you really honk your horn, them's fighting words, and it's going to end up really badly. In Thailand, when we talk about road rage, you may get word rage in the West and people get angry and they'll come out and flex. But in Thailand, like I said, you'll get this threshold of smiling. But when it gets pushed to that limit and it snaps, it goes really downhill really fast and it gets really bad. And many people may have weapons in their cars. And so when you hit that snapping point, it can get super nasty. And one way to do that, because if you go back to the other things I've said, playing loud music or loud sounds in public, all of this stuff causing people to lose face, honking your horn at somebody basically triggers all of that to happen at once. You're causing somebody to lose face. You're accusing them of something. You're causing a disturbance where everybody focuses on them. And so that's enough to push somebody over the limit, and it can end up very nastily. And I've seen people be chased in the cars. I've seen people being rammed. I've seen weapons being pulled out. It's just really ugly. And so if you are driving or riding a bike, try as much as you can to avoid honking your horn. Otherwise, you could end up with a very regrettable situation. So what do you think? My top 10 unspoken laws of Bangkok. Agree, disagree? Let me know in the comments below. I'm Stuart J. Raj. I'll see you on the other side.